Hey there folks, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you can make it because in today's episode, we're going to be making a very easy and delicious version of kimchi. I actually plan on freeze drying a bunch of kimchi and I needed to make a fresh batch. And so I thought, you know what, let's just film it so that I could show you how we make kimchi. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Let's go.
We're going to start off with a little cabbage for our kimchi. And while technically you could use whatever cabbage you like, the Napa cabbage, which is what we have right here, is the more traditional cabbage for this recipe. And there are a couple different ways that you could process it. I'm going to show you the more traditional way of processing, which is to make about a 3-inch slit right down the middle along the bottom of the cabbage, and then just pull the cabbage apart. This is going to maintain the structural integrity of your leaves. And then you're going to do the same thing again, 3-inch slit, cutting that in half right at the very bottom and pull it apart. And then same thing with the other side. Traditionally, you would take this, brine it, the leaves would get nice and soft. And then you would take your porridge and just coat each one of those layers with your porridge and vegetables, your daikon radish and carrots, so on and so forth. And then once it's all coated up, you would roll it and then stick it into a fermenting vessel. That's the traditional way of doing it. We're not going to be doing it that way. The way we're doing it today is a little bit easier. We're just going to chop it up, as you see right here, into inch and a half segments, and then set it into a bin. Just like that. All right, now, all that cabbage, once it's been processed, we do need to brine it overnight. And what I typically like to do is a 1:16 salt to water ratio. So for every cup of salt, you're going to put in 16 cups of water, or 1 gallon. I'll put a recipe link in the description box below. All you got to do is enter the amount of cabbage that you're going to be using, and then everything else will auto-calculate. Notice that everything is under the brine. It's been submerged, and this has been brining for about, I'd say about 14 hours, give or take. Anything overnight is sufficient. We're going to remove those stones and the stainless steel grating and begin the rinsing process. If you taste a piece of cabbage at this point, it should have a salty taste and be crispy, be crunchy. And what we're going to do here is rinse the cabbage 3 times. This is going to help remove just a little bit of that saltiness. It's also going to prepare the cabbage for the next step. So whatever bin or vessel your cabbage is in, fill it up with water. Give it a good rinse, drain the water out, and repeat that process 2 more times. The total amount of time that you're rinsing is 3, and once you're done, in this particular case, I have it in a huge, colander, we're going to let this sit there for 2 hours and just let it drain. We don't want a lot of excess water in our kimchi. So that's just going to sit there. You can put it in a sieve. It doesn't really matter. Let's get our vegetables ready. We're going to go classic ingredients for this kimchi. So we're going to start off with a little carrot and cut those up into small pieces. Next, we're going to be using daikon radish. If you can't get daikon radish, you could use regular radish. Cut those up into little matchstick pieces as well. Next up, we've got some green onion, and notice that I've separated the tops from the bottoms. We're going to process the bottoms differently than the tops, so we're going to just set that to the side. And as far as the green onions, we're just going to chop those up. Now, if you have smaller green onions, that's okay. We do everything by weight. So when you click on the link for the recipe, you'll notice that it asks for a specific weight. All right. Now we have the rest of our ingredients. Right here we have fresh ginger, absolutely beautiful. Notice I've got some onions, garlic, and then of course the green onion bottoms that we separated a minute ago. We're going to peel the garlic, clean up the ginger, and stick it all in a blender, and this is what that's going to look like. Let's set that to the side. When it comes to the spices, we're going to start off with a Korean chili powder called gochugaru. You definitely don't want to use chili flakes or cayenne pepper. I'll put a link in the description if you need some gochugaru. Next, we're going to add some soy sauce. Next up, we're going to add a little fish sauce. Fish sauce brings a beautiful umami flavor, a nice bit of saltiness, and in the recipe, I'm going to have the exact amount that you need, so you don't need to worry about it. This next ingredient is kind of optional. It definitely adds a complexity to your kimchi, also brings a unique funkiness. This is shrimp paste. For us, this brings just the right amount of that funky umami element to the kimchi, but if you'd like to increase, decrease the quantity, or even omit it altogether, that's totally fine. This next ingredient is also another optional ingredient, but it adds a beautiful flavor to your kimchi. This is a Korean chili paste called gochujang. This, coupled with the other ingredients, especially the gochugaru, absolutely amazing. You're going to get a spice profile that's a little sweet, a little smoky, a little spicy. Okay, we now need to make our porridge. We're going to start off with a little turbinado sugar. And next up, we're going to add some glutinous rice flour. If you can't get your hands on rice flour, you could substitute it with potato starch. Do a direct 1-to-1 substitution. Onto the stove with a medium heat, whisking occasionally until it starts to thicken. And this looks just about perfect. It's kind of hot right now. It's going to look kind of like a thick gravy, as you can see right here. As this cools, it's going to thicken even more, but we're going to take this and go ahead and add it to our spices. So 100% of that mixture is going to get mixed in with our spices. And you can see right here on the edge of the pot, nice thick porridge. Beautiful. Okay, give it a whisk, make sure everything's combined. And then to that same bowl, you're going to add the puree that you had of the ginger, onions, garlic. That's all going to go in there as well. Give it a good whisk, make sure everything's well incorporated. And you're going to want this to cool. You don't want to add it to your cabbage while it's hot. So let it cool first. Once it's cooled, we're going to bring everything together. So we have our cabbage. We're going to add our vegetables, radish, carrots, green onions. Next, we're going to add our spices. And we're just going to mix everything together until it's well incorporated. Unlike the traditional way where you're literally spreading the vegetables with these spices on each leaf of the cabbage, I find this way to be incredibly easy and produces amazing results. It's now time to ferment. I've got a brining bucket here that's been sanitized, and I'm just going to add the kimchi to that brining bucket. This is a 5-gallon brining bucket. You can add quite a bit of kimchi in this bucket. Whatever spices or vegetables remain from the bin, we're going to pour that right on top. And now we need to cover it. Now, the interesting thing about kimchi is that as it ferments over the next 24 hours, it's going to want to start to expand. A lot of moisture is going to be expelled, and that liquid level and kimchi level is going to rise. So if I try to push this down and lock it in, on that next lowest spot, it'll bow that lid and it'll pop off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it right on top, and here in a second I'll show you what I mean. This is going to give it a little bit of room for expansion, a little bit of room for that liquid to rise above it, and honestly within the next 12 to 18 hours that little insert will be completely covered up. You want to ferment this in temperatures around 68 Fahrenheit to 75 Fahrenheit, kind of on the high end. The hotter your room is, the faster it's going to ferment. And so if you're fermenting at like 75 Fahrenheit, you're only going to let it hang out at that temperature for about 2 days. If you're at that lower temperature, 3 to 5 days is where you want to be. The longer you let it ferment at those temperatures, the more acidic your kimchi is going to be. So if you like a very tangy, kimchi, let it sit out, 5-6 days, something like that. This is what it looks like after only a short, 12 to 18 hours. Our kimchi liquid level has risen considerably. We are going to cover this right back up, let it continue fermenting, and then we're going to place this into the refrigerator. While it's in the fridge, it's going to continue to ferment, albeit very slowly. At that point, you can start tasting it, which we've done right here. This has been in the refrigerator for probably, I'd say about 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer than 2 weeks. But the longer you let it age in the refrigerator, the more flavorful it's going to be, the more complex and developed. And right now, this smells absolutely amazing. I know that in another 2 weeks, it's going to be even better. So let's fix up a plate and see how it tastes. Now, if you're not familiar with kimchi, let me just tell you that it is not only incredibly delicious, but it is super healthy for you. A lot of probiotics, vitamins, minerals, fibers, good for immune. Anyway, let's eat it.
Oof. Oh, that looks great. Incredibly flavorful. That is so good. And it's still relatively young. I'd say about 4 weeks for us is perfect. But even then, it's going to continue to develop. It's got a lot of umami, a little bit of funkiness coming from the, fish sauce and the shrimp paste. But for me, that's kind of what makes kimchi so good. Nice and spicy. Well, there you have it, guys. That's how we make our... I just got to have one more little bite here. Love the texture of the cabbage, carrots, radish, all of it. Absolutely beautiful. And there you have it. That's how we make our kimchi. It is now time for us to freeze dry a batch and see what freeze-dried kimchi is all about. Cool thing about freeze-drying kimchi is that you don't lose the probiotic. And so when you rehydrate it, you're still getting all that beautiful, healthy element to the kimchi, which is going to be absolutely incredible. Thanks a lot for joining us. If you have any questions, you know where they go. And don't forget, in the description box, you'll find a link to today's recipe. It is precisely measured so that you can have kimchi success right out of the chute. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's episode. And if you're new to this channel and you like content like this, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Just the right amount of tangy, just the right amount of spicy. Woo, that is good.